Hi, this is Ed Brenniger, and I want to talk to you for a few minutes today about the importance of our networks of relationships. I haven't been doing videos in quite some time, but I think it's important for you to hear my voice, see my face, and hear me talk about this in a much more personal way. I have learned the importance of these networks of relationships over my life, and I value all the people that I meet. I meet people every day. I have conversations every day with people, and they are telling me things and teaching me things. I'm hearing things which become very valuable to me. And it's not just occasional, it is every day that I am meeting people and having these conversations. And so my network of relationships has, like everyone's, has a group of people who are really close to me, and I'm close to them. And we share many of the same sources of information, same values, same experiences in life. So I have that little close network that I truly value. But then I have this broad network of connections, these people around the world who also value, and we may never directly have conversation, but we know who each other are. And we may say something, or we may even just do a click of a like or an appreciation when one of us comments on someone else's LinkedIn page or blog or whatever it may be. So these very dispersed and diverse people that we know are important to us because they are sources of information and perspective that help us to have a broader sense of who we are and a clearer sense of what is possible in our world. And I know that has been very beneficial to me, and I'm grateful for all these people that I know because they have made my work much. I don't want to say it's much easier, but it's made it much more effective in communicating with people. It helps me to have conversations that I wouldn't be able to have otherwise. So I am doing three things now, and I'm adding a fourth, and I want to share with you what these are because I want you to be able to access this and involve me in what you're doing. The first is the Substack thing. I started this in January of this year because I was looking for a new audience. I wasn't finding it with my weblog. I wasn't finding it in any other place. I'm grateful to people who would comment or leave a like on Facebook and on LinkedIn, but we weren't starting conversations there. We weren't engaged with things. And now with the Substack, that's what's happening. A new audience for me and my work and my leadership content that I'm sharing with the world is happening. And I'm grateful for that. I've intentionally not done much of the paid subscribers because I want to become really clear to everyone about what I'm talking about. At some point, I will have paid subscriber content. And in some of those cases, it will be audio files of the books that I've written. So I'm going to be recording, particularly the 7 short books, and I'm going to be posting them for people who subscribe and pay for the subscription on Substack. So that's coming this fall. But otherwise, I'll continue to do these long essays on leadership. And if you have questions and if you have things that are interesting to you that you think I should know, send me an email, ed@edbringer.com, because I'm interested in what you're thinking, and I'm interested in the questions that you're asking, and it might lead me into a field of a level of research that I have not been able to do yet. And that's the way our networks of relationships go. We point each other in directions that maybe can be very beneficial. So the Substack is there. Coaching is there for you. And in particular, the things that I'm coaching for is to help people make transitions, personal transitions in terms of their own self-perception, occupational transitions in case they need to be changing, transitions in how they're dealing with family and their communities. Whatever you see as a transition that you're experiencing, those are the things that I deal with. Because we're not just one thing. We're not just a business person. We're not just a father or a mother or a daughter or a son. We're a whole person. And all these things factor in, and they all touch and collide with one another. So I deal with the whole package, all of who you are. I'm also consulting, and the consulting is particularly focused on helping organizations elevate the leadership capacities of their people. And I can tell you that a lot of this has never happened. People are expected just to know what they're supposed to do with that job that they're doing, and that's all they're expected to do. And that is not necessarily beneficial in the long run for a company or for a nonprofit organization or for a local government, because it narrows that person's capacity to have an impact within the group. And it means that the person who is in charge, the CEO or the general manager, the executive director, whatever that title is, it means that they have to do more of the heavy lead work of leadership. So when you develop the leadership of your people, then it frees you to do the really important work that executive leadership is required to do, which is to strategize and plot the future. And if you're worried about the day to day, the way I've had this conversation with people, if you're just working in your business and not on your business, then you're probably only knowing how to run your business rather than how to lead your business. So this is what the consulting is. And so to elevate the leadership capacities of people really means you're teaching them how to take responsibility for the situations that they are directly responsible for. And you're supporting them and encouraging them in that. We're teaching them problem-solving methods, better communication methods, networking, how to build networks, how to build relationships with customers and vendors and that sort of thing, and how to think in innovative ways. And all of these things are uncomfortable for a lot of people because they've never done it, but they're essential for the future of your organization. So Substack, coaching, consulting. And then the fourth thing is something I'm starting this fall, and it'll be a podcast. And the podcast will be similar to what I'm doing with the Substack thing, but it'll be much more focused on the practicalities of leadership. So it's going to be called the Eddy, which is a name that kind of became associated with me when I lived in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And so I decided I would call it the Eddy. I think it's a cute, clever, simple name for a podcast. The subtitle for the podcast is Global Conversations with Local Leaders. So I want to talk with people in local communities around the world about what they're doing to support their communities, to support their people. What are the problems they're facing? How are they addressing those problems? That sort of thing. And so this is where we come back to the circle of impact, of course, but we come back to the network of relationship facet of the circle of impact. So we talk about these networks as being, we have this closed network of people that we know close to and that we share the same values and we share the same information and we share the same political perspectives and all of that. But what we also need is access to information and perspective and ideas from people who we're not connected to. So here's the way I'm describing this, and this is how you can help me. And you can do it simply by sending me an email to ed@edbreniger.com. I want to know, wherever you are, I want to know the people that you think I should know, and in particular, people that you think I should interview. And it's because they're doing something in your local community that you value, and you think this is something that is worth having a public and global conversation about. And if this is really close to you, then maybe it's the three of us, you and your friend, your contact, and me having this conversation about what you're doing. There's a methodology to how we structure each of these podcasts, and I will share that with you when you contact me. But I'm really interested in who you know and whether you would introduce me to the people that you know that you think I should know. And then we could have, I think, really interesting conversations. So send me your advice and your thoughts on Who is it that you think I should be interviewing? Why I should interview them? What is it they're doing that you find is really valuable? And then the contact information where I can reach out to them. And I appreciate that very much. So a lot going on. Am I hopeful, optimistic, pessimistic, cynical about the future? I am cynical about those who have given up. I'm pessimistic about the structures of our society being able to adapt and change and recover from what we're going through. I am optimistic about people deciding that they're going to take care of their local communities and that they will do that and and need to learn how to do that, but they will do that. So I think long term, the future, I have optimism about the future. I have hope. Short term, I think we're going to go through some very, very hard times beyond anything that any of us have ever experienced. Therefore, we really need to take care of ourselves in our communities and find all those people that are diverse and beyond who we would ever have met before, link together so that we can learn from one another and support one another as we go through this time. I look forward to seeing you when my podcast begins. I will keep writing if you will keep reading, and I love hearing from you and you telling me what you think. It matters to me more than words can share. And if you tell me something you think is important for me to know, I will respect that to the greatest degree I can, and I thank you for that. So I will see you soon, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.